God is moving. It's Young People Nation.
Welcome to Young People Nation. Listen to us weekly as we commit to bring transparency, healing, and truth to the everyday situations in life that might bring you down. Join us for your weekly dose of inspiration. Thank you for listening to Young People Nation. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now, here's your host, Eugene and Donna Perry.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Giving the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross.
Welcome to Young People Nation, and we're in our fourth session and final session with Kaileel and Kiara. You said Leo?
I said hello.
Hello? You said hello? Okay. The Brooks. And again, this is a newly married couple. However, this couple comes with a lot of wisdom and they have a lot of giftings. And they love to use their gifts for serving the community and others, and building others, building one another, building their family for future family members, okay? Yeah. But Kiara is an actress and she's a singer. And this young lady, again, man, God really uses her when she opens her mouth and sing. It is powerful. And so Kaileel, he loves helping in the community. He has a giver's heart, and he's working on his brand. So you all stay tuned for his brand. All right?
All right.
So welcome back, and this is our fourth session, our final session, but definitely not your last time being on this platform.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Because we are connected. We are connected. We have lunch together. We get together. Y'all been to the house, and so we're family.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about childhood impact on marriage and relationships. That's huge.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Childhood impact on marriage and relationships. Let's unpack that. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
I said I go first.
Yeah, I was like, do you want me to go first? You've been going first. I'll just keep the rhythm.
I will say, that does play a major impact in our lives. I know before we got married, we had some issues of my family trying to intervene in like things I was doing in my life.
Don't just hate that.
Yeah, man, it was a struggle for me too, because I love my family to death, but I love my wife even more to death. So it was like, oh my gosh. I said, why they put me through the ringer right now? I feel like I was going through depression at that point. I said, man, this is crazy. I hate having to decide, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna choose my wife over everybody. Because I had to leave the flock, I had to leave my family in order to make my own family. And so,
and you've been taught well.
Genesis 2:24. Genesis 2:24 right there.
So like, especially when my mom tried to intervene with my relationship because she wanted my sister to move in with us for like a month while she helped her with school and stuff. But my wife didn't feel comfortable. And I had told her, I said, we don't feel comfortable. I said, I told her, especially
I love that. I caught that. You didn't say her. You didn't throw her under the bus.
I said, we don't feel comfortable having her, my sister, live with us.
Granted, hold on, let me interrupt real quick. There's nothing wrong with his family. Like, we really all get along, but just the place that we're at, we're still establishing, and it's a little difficult when you are still trying to establish the order of your home and then having other people come in because, I think that there's some things that still needs to be developed in private and you don't always get the luxury if you're living with a bunch of people. And also, we're 23, we're young, and we're still trying to get established. So I just wanted to throw that in there, like, we're all good. It's all love.
Most definitely, because like I see it now in our daily lives, because like I just think about it sometimes, like, oh yeah, my sister would not be able to live with us. We got too much going on over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that lends to the whole childhood aspect of how that impacts our relationship, because growing up, I've lived in different places. I was once in Ohio, I was once in Georgia. I was with my family, away from my family. So we are used to being independent and doing things on our own, but yet we are still a family. Our family just looks different.
Yes.
But you know, he grew up with his family very tight, close-knit, and they're always like, it's like everybody has to look out for one another, which granted in my family we do it. We just do it in a different way.
Yes.
And I would say that we're just extremely, I might have already used this, but we're just extremely independent, needless to say. And
She's from up north, y'all.
Yeah. And that is different.
Yes,
it's different.
I'm from up north, and I
from the
think
South.
that has a different
different.
ring to
Yeah,
it.
it
And
is.
so it's just that I've been having to adjust through that, and I think that's where the difference comes. Because he was like, well, why can't she just stay? Like, what's wrong with that? And I'm like, baby, we do. I'm not used to that. I barely stay with my siblings. When I was 18, I was gone. I wasn't at home. I lived by myself for 2 years. I just don't want to be. I don't want to turn into something that nobody wants to see, because I'm not used to having my space filled with a lot of people. And so I think that was a big difference between us.
It was because I was dealing with a lot, because I was like the older brother complex in me.
Yes.
I want to take care of my family, take care of my sister. That's my sister.
Yes.
But
headed to college, right? She was headed to college.
She was already in college, so she's like, but the dorm rooms were too expensive, and so she just needed somewhere to stay for like a month or so. But my mom was trying to force it on me. She was trying to do all this stuff, and then she tried to guilt trip me. And I love my mom to death, so don't come from my mom. I love my mom.
I hear you. That's up to you to say that. I hear you.
It was just a growing moment.
It was a growing moment. It was just made me realize, like, okay, mom, you try to put everything back on me, like I thought you was doing this out of love because you love me, but at the same time, I had to realize, okay, all right, I got you, mom.
And that's those boundaries.
Yeah.
We had something similar. You remember when your younger brother at one point was going
no.
but you was trying to figure it out about him staying with us, and we had just had Nina at that point. And so I went and got some wisdom, because I was like, how do you tell him that his younger brother couldn't stay? Because he was gone all the time with the military. He was gone to the field. Every time you looked around, he was gone. And so here I am, even though I'm close to my family, but my focus is on my infant. And so he handled it very well. And because I didn't have time to take his brother to school. He was in high school. That's when your younger brother was in high school.
Well, the thing is about it, as a parent like that, you're always trying to think of a solution for the family, and all. But once you got married and all like that, and you separate from your mother and father, that the scripture says, you got your own life to live. You know, you don't support you support them, but you're not supporting them their way they run their family.
Yeah,
you got your own. You know,
and so those boundaries are for us. So, have you created boundaries for yourself concerning those types of emotions?
I think so.
I would say so. I don't really. I had to tell her, like, she couldn't have force my siblings to do, or force me to do something that she wants. Maybe if I'm by myself, it would have been no problem having them stay with me. But because I have a companion now, I have a partner, I have my wife, I can't. No, it's not just me no more. It's not my brain. It's two brains in this house.
I love it. Yes.
So one person against all of them? No.
Yeah, and I think also the thing that we had to discuss is you grew up with your siblings and you lived with them your whole life. And even though we're together, I don't know your siblings as much as you do. And so for me, that really would be like taking on a new roommate. And not that that's not something that can't be adjusted, but I will say it took a lot of prayer because I started to feel really bad. I cried a lot actually about it because I didn't want to create a bad relationship, especially like about to have a mom-in-law or a sister-in-law. And I didn't want them to feel like I was keeping them from having a relationship with their son and their brother, because at the end of the day, that's who he was before he was anything to me. And so I just really had to pray about it. And sometimes you literally just have to ask God to guide that, because I also had to ask God to guide my heart, because it was uncomfortable thinking about that. And so I had to make sure, just because it was uncomfortable, that I wasn't being selfish and that this actually would play out way better. And why am I feeling uncomfortable, and why don't I feel like that is good for us? But having a relationship that we can grow, but also having a family where we can grow and extend grace to one another and learn all this together, because just as much as we're learning how to be with one another, our family is learning that we are with one another at the same time.
Yes, and what that looks like, you understand, because that's kind of how we flow. Well, that is how we flow. That is God first and me and him.
Yeah.
Well, let me get them a pill to swallow. It's kind of hard, but it's only one queen in the house.
Facts.
And that's the bottom line.
Facts.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. And you have to, especially when you first coming together and you're married and you're creating your space. You understand? And so those boundaries are necessary. They are so necessary. And we're going to be doing something at another time on boundaries in marriage and how necessary they are.
Yeah.
You understand? So some of your, have you experienced traumas in your childhood that you see that has impacted your relationship with your spouse? And if so, how are you dealing with that?
I realized I didn't know it until someone actually was speaking over me, but I had like issues with abandonment. And my parents didn't neglect me, but I realized once they split, when I look back, my dad had to leave. I went through almost a year where I didn't talk to him at one point. So it was different. And then I moved away from my mom at 14, and I was being raised to be a woman by my father, but I was no longer with my mother. And there's certain things that I didn't get that you get by living under the house and having that day-to-day connection with your mom. And so I think that when we got together, I could see how when we started having our relationship problems, I felt completely abandoned and I felt very alone. And because my relationship with my parents is the top relationship that I've established with unconditional love and just somebody really getting to know you and intimacy outside of like having like one super close best friend, when we started having those troubles, it really did a play on my emotions. And I also realized that a part of me was looking for him to feel something that I didn't get to experience with my parents because of life's changes.
Okay.
That means counseling is not a bad word.
That's right.
Marriage counseling that we did for it was supposed to be premarital, but we have a whole wedding story. But we ended up finishing counseling and just addressing those things. Absolutely.
Yeah. And even professional counseling, dealing with the word abandonment. You know, that just like what my husband was saying, it's not a bad thing once we acknowledge, okay, I got a challenge here. You know, God, how do you want me to handle this? And so God has many factors on how he helps us. So we just have to be open to those factors.
Yeah, I was reluctant at first, but because I love my wife, I let her drag me in there.
I didn't drag you in there. You're a grown man, dude.
Let's clarify.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, let us say my feet were heavy when I was walking through the door, and the more I was cooperative in that, the better off we
So
were.
are you saying that you was forced to go to counseling?
No, not that I was forced,
Okay.
but my resistance, my feet were heavy when I walked in. So.
Okay, so that was something you were dealing with within yourself.
Yes, because
Okay.
I was on that macho thing. Men don't do that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Men don't go to therapy.
Especially black men, they don't do that and all that. And but that macho stupidity left after we got talking and got involved, and I saw that there was room for improvement. That, the K-man ain't always right.
So I'm grateful, even in this point of our journey, that counseling, professional counseling, because we're like you guys, God is top. You understand? Go here, he's first. However, he let us know that we need to go that way, and so that he can have a platform and the right counselor, so he'll be able to talk out what was really going on within him, and he gave him sound wisdom. Okay, I want to ask you guys this right here. What are you doing now to help build the relationships around you and your marriage?
I would say, we just continue to communicate. That's the biggest thing. Communication. We talk.
Let's break that down though, because everybody says communication, but what does that look like practically between the both of us? One, I can say expressing all things good and bad, expressing our fears. I mean, we just had a conversation this morning where I was like, and we created that safe space for one another.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
To be able to do that. Yeah. Did you want to keep going?
Yeah, it's like, cause, for me, I have to communicate how I feel. Like, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to having an outlet of saying how I feel, or expressing how I feel. She's giving me the chance to do that, cause growing up, my dad, it was don't cry, men don't cry, suck it up.
That's right.
And you could ask her. She barely sees me cry. Not that because I don't want to cry. It's like it's hard for me to cry because I've always told men don't cry. But she's giving me the safe space to like just come to her and talk to her about my fears, or if I'm dealing with something, if work is killing me, or I feel something in the marriage, or she talked to me wrong, I'm like, hey, look, girl, I don't like that.
And I have to receive that.
Yes.
And outside of us, I would say that we have an understanding that we aren't just called to each other, that we are called to other people. And so one thing I love about him, even when we were dating, he would encourage me to make sure I work it out with my friends, because you get in a relationship and you so happy to be booed up, and you might have fallout with your girl, and you like, babe, I don't really like this, and she was doing that. He like, don't talk to me. You talk to her. You have a relationship with her, and you need to work it out with her. And so, even outside of problems, just encouraging me to go after my friendships and go to my family. And I'm always telling him the same, like, go check on your family.
Yeah.
We're called to
beautiful.
more than one another.
Right.
I mean, we get lost in our own world, but
I have a question for you guys, and we're about to wrap it up. Name 2 influencers or people that influence you to outside of God, because we know he's the greatest, that naturally is here that helps you.
I mean, y'all.
Thank you.
Easy
Thank
peasy.
you. Thank you. My head will blow up now.
Don't let it blow up, man.
Come back down.
I need that on your shoulders.
Okay.
I would say the biggest influences in my life, aside from y'all, because y'all came in my life, especially with my dad, it helped a lot. I would say my sergeant major back in high school. He's like really the main reasons I'm growing up the way I did, and just continue to be a better man. And I would say the friends I do have, my friend Aubrey, he's one of my closest friends. Even though we don't talk all the time, we just connect like that. And he was there for me. He always helped me grow, and I help him grow when he's going through stuff, if he allows me in. But that's a different topic.
Amen.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, this has been wonderful. You guys are just, even though you're 23, you talk like you're in your 30s and 40s. I'm telling you, especially this oneness vibe that I'm gathering. I love it, and it's beautiful. And keep that. Okay, keep that. Well, this has been wonderful. Yeah. And we'd like to give out our hotline number, 988. If you're dealing with any mental health issues, you got 988. You got text home to 741-741. And you also have the 211 number for general community resources. Well, Mr. Perry.
I'm going to give a big nugget to y'all. Always keep fun in your marriage. Like, I got this little thing right over here. It's a little bell ring.
Oh, Lord.
Every time this bell ring, she's supposed to give me a kiss. You know, keep that fun in your marriage. And I will send her little notes and all email notes when she said, I said, move your foot, I'm on the desk. You know, through the day to keep her cheerful and thinking about me constantly and all calm, steady, thinking about her. And then sometimes I just show up at her work.
Yeah,
with some roses.
Yeah,
with some roses and all, and walk in and make everybody else jealous. Of course,
that's not the point.
No, it's not the point. It's not the point. No, but let's keep that joy in it. Yeah. And with all of that, you experience life that you're not existing, but you're really living life. And remember, this is Young People Nation. And remember, there's always hope.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross. He the #1 prospect. He the top boss. I was broke, I was empty. He the one that paid the cost. Really thought that I was cool. There was nothing like the Savior. Now it's time for the truth. The whole world been waiting. It's Young People Nation. 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 The whole world been waiting. Whatever you going through, I know what he gonna do. Don't matter the circumstance, we going back to the root. Keep going. Let that seed keep growing. You need peace and we know it. Now it's time to live holy. Young People Nation. You know what time it is. Young People Nation. Get ready, the time is here. Get ready, we vibing here. We about to let God in here. Young People Nation. It's Young People Nation. Yeah, do it for the heavens, you know where we going. Influenced by his love, you know we gotta show it. It's time to put the youth onto what God is doing. Cause I can tell you now, right now, that God is moving. It's Young People Nation.